So today I'm just doing a quick video which is going to be a response to Miniature Adventure TV and Storm of Steele, where they've been talking about is IGOUGO dead? I think it's a pretty interesting question. Most of the games that I grew up with were IGOUGO, and I'd say probably most of us were the same. I guess even like Warhammer 40,000, that's where I really cut my teeth. Same situation. Most of the Napoleonic games that my dad had, that we started playing with, were IGOUGO. And I think it's got its pros, but it also has its cons, like everything. I'm going to do a video later on talking about scale and how all the different scales are kind of crazy, but they all work together to create some sort of cohesion. I think it's the same in the hobby for IGOUGO versus any of the other systems. It's easy to person into a game. It's just you get to do your shooting, you get to do your easy to pick up and understand. So from that perspective, it is very good. There's no issues with it. Realism in your games, perhaps that's where you wouldn't like it so much. The larger the game, the more moving parts, the slower it becomes. So if you're having big games, multiplayer games, it's completely tongue-tied. It's a shame, back in about 2006, me and Dad had built a Waterloo battlefield for 6mm. It was 3 sheets of ply, so 4, 8, so a big table, and we'd landscaped it, flocked it. It was really nice, ironed and chopped up and probably burnt by the new owners. But unfortunately we didn't take any photos at the time. We weren't really big on documenting our things, but now it would be cool to look back at that table. Before that we had base representing a regiment. I don't know if you have any here, but sort of one base of 6mm was one regiment, and we had enough to do 2/3 of the whole battle. But trying to move that many regiments, it would take you hours. And it was a long slog trying to move all your troops. And then it was time to go and do something else, because you couldn't be out there all day long. You had other jobs, chores, you name it. So the larger the battlefield, the more units, the slower the game. You need a streamlined, easy to understand rule set. So that's where IGOUGO, I think, really shines. And you like to have more realism in your games, more friction. That's where different styles of rules can become really appealing. I quite like the chain of command, getting random number of activations. I think that really works quite nicely. My dad, on the other hand, he isn't so keen on that. I tried to get us to kind of come up with a hybrid system whereby at the start of each turn you'd roll a dice, and then like a d12, and then you'd be able to activate that many units, and then your opponent would do the same, and you just go backwards and forwards. But no, he liked to be able to move all of his troops, and then I would do all of mine. So now we just take it in turns. Whoever's sort of hosting chooses which rule set, and that's the easiest way of doing it that way. From my personal experience, I would say definitely not. As I said, it depends on the age and experience of the players. If you've been playing a certain way for a long time, you're probably going to stick to that. Why change if you don't have to? If you're trying to get historical flavour and realism and friction in your games, then yeah, you're probably not going to play an IGOUGO game. But it's like with all things, variety is the spice of life, and why can't you like both? All things have pros, all things have cons, so why does it have to be this or that? I know for myself, I'm happy to play both, and most of my friends still play sort of Warhammer, so they will do IGOUGO when I play it with them, and we play that. Easy peasy. To play like the World War II games, or Vietnam, or any games which I design, then they're more, there's a lot more friction built into them, and a lot more random activations and random events. So you can never really, you can have your plan, but you can never really plan it to be perfect, because stuff's going to happen. Your opponent might all of a sudden a random event happens and their unit which just moved last gets to move again, or the unit that just fired gets to fire again. So it could be any random thing like that. So I've thrown in lots of interesting little treats which can the works. So yeah, going back to it, is IGOUGO dead? I'd say certainly not. It all comes down to you and what you're trying to get out of it. And it's a huge hobby. Hopefully it'll just keep growing. I mean, some people complain, oh, there's too many rule sets. Really? There's never too many rule sets. Find the one that works for you, and if you don't want to go any further, fantastic. However, if there's another rule set that gets someone new into the hobby, and then maybe later on they come over to your rule set, that's an extra opponent. So never look at it from the negative of there's too many. Just see it as an opportunity to get more people into the game and the games that we love. So hopefully that's about it, and it hasn't bored you too much. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And yeah, as they've both said, let's try and get a big discussion going on this matter. It's quite an interesting one. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and keep watching my videos to see what's coming up next. Anyway, see you later guys.